I've written 2 novels, I'm working on a 3rd, and I'm doing them all this way. It's my way that I figured out, which is, they've all sort of ended up having a revolving, limited, omniscient third-person narrator. So you're inside someone's mind, you're not speaking in their voice, but you're inside their mind and what they know. You move to someone else, you move to someone else. And the way that made sense to me was to write everything from one character's point of view. Because you get inside them, and why not stay there? And then write everything from another character's point of view. This is after months of research and making notes and putting them on index cards that cross-reference to my files, and I'm very obsessive because otherwise I find you can sit down, try and write a scene, realize you don't know what that thing is called, spend the rest of the day trying to find your book about horses that'll tell you, you know, is that the bit or the, right? So I get all that organized, write all those scenes, write that character's scenes, print it all up in tiny font, cut it up in pieces, put it on the floor, move it around. You know, I'll do that on the floor for weeks. I'll move everything around and then tape it all together, take it to the computer, move it around in the computer, print that up, read it through, see what's missing. Print it up again in small, you know, put it on the floor, move it around again. And it's all color-coded too, right? So I can see, okay, this character disappears for too long. So how, you know, there's a hole there. So I visually will see things, but I also will read through and read through and read through. And at some point I think, well, that's as close as I can get it on my own. I try to be more receptive on the intuition end of things in the first draft. So, but before I get there, I have to do a lot of the intellect stuff. I have to do the research, I have to be organized, I have to have the ideas. Once I get that in place, I like to let it go, and I try to let myself be messy and to know that I can clean it up later. You can clean it up later. You know, you can write a floppy sentence and you can tighten it up later, or you can realize it has to be cut later, because being receptive to the story is all important, and the other stuff you can do later. But I also found that there's a real, I used to think research, you get it out of the way, and then you can do the creative work. No, no, no. They feed one another, and there's this beautiful relationship that comes up between them. The craft of writing, for me, it's about getting everything as right as I can. So, the pacing. Does the story go blah somewhere where the management of time within the story. Does a minute feel like a minute? Do you buy it when we go back in time? Do you get back into the present easily? Does this character speak like this? Should they speak like this? Is it how they speak? Am I putting words in their mouth? No, they should only ever speak the way they speak. They should only ever think the way they think. Every sentence should lie down in place. There should be no clunking. The list goes on, but this is a, you know, you should want to get to the ending. The ending should surprise you and at the same time be inevitable. You know, you go, oh God, yes, of course that had to happen. I didn't see it coming. Those kinds of things. I could go on, but for me what it comes down to is letting it come out as much as I can in the beginning, and then going over it and over it and over it and over it, and things that don't work, being honest enough with yourself to say that doesn't work. Cutting stuff that you love. You're in love with a sentence. You do everything you can to save it. You might spend a week trying to save it, and you cut it because it's got to go. Because every word has to fit every sentence. Every sentence has to fit the paragraph it's in. Even if you love it, if it doesn't belong there, if it's not in service to the novel, it's got to go.